Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Women in Engineering podcast. This is Stephanie Alexandric, your host. Today, I am joined by Emily Salvalaggio from OPG, which is Ontario Power Generation. She currently works as a design senior manager at Darlington Nuclear Power Plant. How are you doing today, Emily?
Hi, Stephanie. I'm doing great. Thanks. How are you?
I am good, thank you. Okay, jumping into the first question, I was wondering if you could just give a brief introduction of yourself, your education background, and any of your favorite hobbies.
Sure. So, I also went to Western and was in the same classes as your uncle for electrical engineering. Um, Graduated with that as well. I did the technological entrepreneurship certification program during my summers there at Western and had a ton of fun at Western. Still keep in touch with my roommates from first year to this day.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was an amazing school. Background, so I really let my education define me. Loved being an engineer, especially electrical. And from there, I got a job at Ontario Power Generation as the digital control computer system engineer. Got married, started a family. So I have three boys, ages 7, 4, and 2, and they keep me quite busy. And if I were without them, I would be paddleboarding or shopping.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that sums me up.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. Okay. So you touched on this before, and just I guess expanding on this, how did you find yourself pursuing an engineering degree?
Good question. So I was like a lifeguard, camp counselor type throughout high school and into my university years, but decided to pursue engineering because ultimately my father was an electrical engineer. He was the second person in Canada to use a cell phone. He actually helped invent the personal cell phone here in Canada.
Oh, that's
So that
cool.
was huge inspiration to me.
Yeah.
And while I certainly did not pursue the wireless option in electrical,
Yeah.
I was more inclined to power transmission and distribution. I still yeah, wanted that degree, that engineering degree.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've personally experienced it, and I've talked to other women too that uh, their interest in engineering has usually come from some family member that they're close to that is in engineering, and they're like, "Well, you can do it too."
That's
And
right.
yeah, that's I think it's great to have role models like that and help to push someone to pursue engineering. So, while you were in school, how did you implement balance into your life?
Hmm. I I certainly was not effective at that. At Western, there's a lot of opportunity to be distracted and and enjoy the other side of life. There's the work life and your fun life outside
Yes,
of work.
yes.
Um, so no, I did not manage time well. Honestly, it was about fourth year when I started understanding the need to manage my time well. So in probably my fourth year, I would make sure I set aside specific times to study on my own.
Mhm.
But before then, when we would study in groups, that would certainly help adjust my calendar. But I in no way was responsible enough to set aside those times in those groups.
Okay.
Now, with the perspective of like where I am now in my career, should I have the opportunity to go to university again? And I will here. We actually have some nuclear systems education here at Ontario Power Generation. So I am going to UOIT next year. But
Oh, okay. Nice.
and when I do, I will be a superstar student.
You
I
would you would
understand.
put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially with 3 kids, you just get better with time management as you go on in the years. So, yeah, no real tips or tricks, just I got better at it through the years. And at the end of the day, you put time aside for your priorities. School's a priority, put time aside for it, and work for me, family for me. Family's the priorities. One some days, work's priority one other days. So
Yeah.
ebbs and flows.
I found even going through my undergrad so far that I have also found I've gotten better at balance as I've continued. And I think that's just a matter of that's how it goes. Like not
Yeah.
everyone has it figured out in first year. So
You learn so many soft skills like that through university, that yeah, maybe not apparent right away, but clearly you've picked up on it. That's a huge skill that you acquire in university is how to manage your time.
okay, so you ended up and towards the end of your degree, you figured out your I guess timing a little bit better. When you graduated, what goals did you have then? And then what goals do you have now?
Oh, I like it. When I graduated, I thought I want to be a director one day at like a bigger company. And
Okay.
and today I still have that goal. I'm just a lot closer to that goal today than I was back then.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great to hear, like, you have the same goal and you're working towards it. That's
Mhm.
okay, awesome. Did you have any other, like, other goals?
Um, Certainly on the family side, I definitely wanted to have children, have family, and I think it's probably important for me to say this that as a woman, as a mother, um, having children didn't stop my career goal, did not alter it. I changed my days. Like I said, I prioritize my family over my career a lot of days,
Mhm.
and that's fine. That's fine. All you have to get better at doing is delegating things, and again, you'll learn that as you go in your career. So yeah, my family was biggest goal, biggest accomplishment in my opinion, and in the career, I'm almost there. I am very close.
That's aw That's great, that's great. I think it is important that you mention that about I think, yeah, like, even myself, I've thought about it, and other women that are going into, like, engineering or other, careers where I feel like there is a lot of work and you can the family life may not be as, like, feasible or you don't think it's as feasible, but it still is. I think, like, again, with, like, time management or
Mhm.
delegating where, like, you don't need to be the person that's doing it or you can't this time, that
Yeah, a lot of it is confidence and risk tolerance, to be honest. You will put the most pressure on yourself, not your employer. I guarantee you, in terms of like not thinking you're ready to have a child, thinking it'll have impacts with your career, but I'm telling you, and I'm proof you absolutely can.
yeah,
So
we are our toughest critics.
that's right.
Yep. Okay. On to the next question. Have you ever experienced burnout, and what did you learn from that experience, if you did?
Absolutely. I won't say I really adjusted things, other than like the very, very basics, like making sure I have food to
That
keep
would be
fueling
helpful.
me during those times. Of course, I could say like prioritize sleep, but that isn't always possible. So burnout, I would define as like you're running on empty. You're consistently running on empty, and you need to recharge, right? So it's something that I've just I accept it as a fact of life at times. Sometimes I'm running on empty. I do what I can with what I have. So I don't say, oh, I need a few days off to go off by myself on a yoga retreat. Although that's probably a good answer
It sounds pretty
and
nice.
probably a good solution. Instead, I just focus on the smaller things. So I'm gonna make sure I have a variety and a rainbow of fruits to eat tomorrow as I get through these meetings, or I'm gonna make sure that I hit my head on my pillow at 8:30 p.m. tonight because I'm just so tired. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Not always, like, when you have burnout, can you really deal with it in a way where you just, like, stop working or stop
That's
all of your
right.
responsibilities, like, that's not really feasible. But I think yeah, like, giving yourself, like taking care of yourself in little ways can help you for sure.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's a good summary. As well, sometimes doing certain things energizes you, like extrovert. So if I go and socialize with folks,
Mhm.
I'm getting energized from that. I'm getting remotivated. Introverts, tons of different activities for themselves to do, that they can do while they're working or while they're doing whatever is burning them out, that can give them a little bit of a recharge too. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Sometimes I realized recently, talking to your friends when you're feeling stressed out, not even having to talk about what it is, what the stressor is, does really help.
They're
Just
free therapists. It's wonderful.
yes. Yeah. Okay, next one, and this is kind of, I guess, your advice to current students. What would you give as advice to students that are either going into their like co-op internship or even graduating and moving into industry?
Okay, so for co-ops and interns, this is it for you. Like, this is a huge opportunity. So it's just as important for you to decide whether you like the company or not as it is to impress the company you're going out to work for. Decide if that work environment, that workplace culture, if that makes you happy, if that makes you feel um, like a positive contributor, and that you come home feeling full in your purpose cup. And as importantly, you've got to work to impress, right? You've got to do your best job. um, I didn't immediately use what I'd learned in my degree at OPG when I first started. I did use some, but not all, right? And you'll realize too that, again, university is teaching you to be able to learn quickly and apply that learning quickly. So that skill is unmatched with any other discipline than it is with engineering. Engineers are excellent for that, and as a result, engineers are like a feedstock for a variety of upper level positions.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, impress and make sure the company is a good fit for you. For fourth year students, you know, keep going. You're so close. You're so close. And fourth year was my favorite year because I think, if I remember, you get a lot more selection in your courses, and you really choose what you're passionate about. And
Yeah.
it's so much more fun to learn what you want to learn in your discipline, and you'll find that it's easier to get good grades in fourth year because you're really into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember in my first year, I think I was getting 60s for sure. And then in my last year, I was, 90s, high 80s. And that is literally just because I liked what I was doing
Yeah.
mostly in the last year.
You learn all of the like basics when you're in the lower years, and then
Yeah,
finally in your last year, I feel like you're learning what you originally went into engineering for,
you've
originally
got
what
it.
you're interested in, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And
I'm feeling that way right now.
good, good.
Yeah.
And also for the fourth years, I think I remember applying for 90 jobs. I think I sent my resume out 90 times.
Oh my
I
god.
got 3 callbacks. Three. They were to my top choices,
Okay.
thankfully.
That's good.
But yeah, I hustled. I worked my butt off to get my name out there, and ultimately I got my dream job, and I'm still of the opinion that this is my dream job, so I'm really happy about 14 years later.
Nice.
And yeah, I wish the best for everybody there, and apply, apply, apply. Make sure you enjoy that last year.
Yeah. For applying to jobs, um, what methods did you use when applying? Like, did you network with anyone at the companies that you wanted to work at, or how did you go
I went
about
to
that?
all of those like career fair sessions that where the employers come to Western, and they go and they advertise their companies to you. I went to every single one of those.
Okay.
And when I would sit in those, I would sit and I would look for the most confident speaker. And usually that was the biggest manager. And then I would go up to them at the end of the course, introduce myself, and be like, hey, I'm really interested in working for your company. that's how I got name flagged for Ontario Power Generation. I was the only one asked to interview in the class.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a decent amount of like job fairs that they have available for co-ops and for like grad positions. Um, that's so I'm hoping that all of our listeners they know that there is value in going to them because
There's big value. Yeah, we
you're
don't
putting a face to
send
the name.
like lower like we don't necessarily send all individual contributors for these university sessions. So like we send people with actual hiring power. And we'll of course send an individual contributor recently graduated for relating their experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would assume all other companies kind of have that same approach. So they're very important to sit in on. Get your face out there.
Yeah, you get to meet with people that could then, if they were like you, they can put your name in or they can decide that they want to interview and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last question, very open-ended. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Okay, so for women in engineering, uh, with your base, I think it's very important for all your members to know and understand that for what you want in your career, you have to audibly ask for it. You have to document it. You have to be relentless about it. There's a saying in the workforce for communication, it's only effective if you do it 7 times and 7 ways. And the intent of that saying is to encourage over communicating so that uh, everyone understands what your goals are and what your drive is for. So I have always had to be reminded in my career, and thankfully I was by mentors and people who support me to ask for what I want and to make it clear for what I want. Um, if you are receiving a workload program that is a little bit boring for you, or you could do more, or you want to do something different, you have to voice that and you have to ask for it, and you deserve that. So you have to be confident in that when you're asking as well.
I think
Um,
in those
and yeah,
cases, your managers they don't know what you want unless you tell them.
that's right.
So the yeah, even like with personal experience, like how they're not mind readers. So
Exactly.
if you want to try something new, you have to be able to bring it up, and then from there, like with whatever they're comfortable doing, they can likely help you in whatever you're wanting to do.
Exactly. Exactly. And if they don't know the answer, they can get you the right contact who does. So yeah, first step is using your voice and making your desires and your goals clear, and then continuing to do that. And I'd already mentioned it earlier in another question, I think, but do not wait to start your goals outside of work, like having a family or others, based on your confidence level in your job. So if you are on a rotation, for example, um, that is not a barrier to starting a family. If you're in an individual contributor role, that is also not a barrier. The workplace completely accommodates for that, and it does not delay your career. You have my word. I've had 3 children and senior department manager, and like I said, I'm getting close. I'm getting close to the next level.
Yeah. I think if you want to make it work, you can make it work. That's really
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. And I think people have, or like specifically women, I think they have fears about that. They'll have to sacrifice that part of themselves. But like if that's something that you want, you need to go after that as well. Like if you have ambition outside of your career, you have to also prioritize that, or else you're not going to be happy.
That's right. And if it were a true concern, if your career was not going to progress because you had a family, then you probably don't want to vibe with that company in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to be a member of Women in Engineering, and I also came to Western for some Go Eng Girl events, and,
Okay.
and I
Yep.
just loved those uh, because you'd mentioned in the beginning, you hear this type of response often that women in engineering typically have someone in their family, someone very close to them as an engineer to look up to. I I love that response, and I at the same time I'm disappointed in it because I would love for women to be inspired constantly to be in STEM and not just have that lucky push that some of us are just lucky to have in our family.
Yes,
So
exactly. That's one of the reasons I joined Women in Eng. I'm not particularly as involved with the mentorship side of the club. We have a VP mentorship, um, but I felt I was very fortunate that I had someone that could help push me that way. But there are so many girls right now that have the potential to be in engineering, but they don't have that. So that's why, like Go Eng Girl, they have Go Code Girl. We have mentorship programs at Western and at other universities that
wonderful.
try to push like elementary school and high school girls to apply for engineering because they just need to be told that they can do it.
Exactly. So yeah, what I would love to see is your organization make the biggest impact they could make on grade eights. You know, start those university level courses in high school and have that option available to you. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I would ask of all of you,
Yes.
get more of
I
us
do.
out there.
I think we're getting closer, but yeah, there's definitely still more work to do. But with the like with our club, I can speak mainly just for our club here, but definitely the mentorship side of things, it is getting larger, and we do have more programs available for those girls that are interested, or at least advertising to people that they hadn't considered it before, but now it's an option that is available to them.
Mm. See, so how many women are in your class this year?
I don't know the exact number. The range is usually like 20 to 30% depending on what discipline.
In electrical?
The it's discipline specific, but for mine it's probably like I would say about 20%. Yeah.
Really? That's impressive.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
and yeah, I think with at least the classes I've been in so far, I always have like a girlfriend that I can like sit with if I want
Oh,
to.
that's wonderful. See, I graduated out of a class of 32, and I was the only graduating female in that class. There was another female, but she had gone on to a different degree.
Okay.
Um, so
Oh, that's
yeah, it
wow.
warms my heart to see that 20% are in there.
Yeah, that's crazy. I had on the podcast I guess a few episodes back. We had the first female engineer to graduate from Western Engineering. Her name's Vicky, and so
Very cool.
she was the obviously the only girl to graduate in her year, and she was the first one. And it's so
Wow.
crazy that like even like you didn't graduate nearly as long ago as she
Right?
did.
I'm not wrinkly. I'm not like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, and for you to be the only one within your discipline, that's mind-boggling. We'll
yeah,
have like I think we'll likely have like 10 girls graduating this year in
in
electric.
electrical.
Yeah.
Nice. See, yeah, there were 10 girls in mechanical, uh,
Okay.
10 girls or whatever in chemical, but yeah, electrical is the
It is
last one.
definitely
Hey?
yeah, it's more male dominated in electrical still. That I think that's still prevalent. But yeah, it is the numbers are increasing. And with the mentorship programs, I think that will continue to increase. So I wanted to say thank you to Emily for coming on the podcast today and talking a bit about school and work-life balance and that you truly can have both as a female in engineering. On behalf of all of our listeners and on behalf of myself, I wanted to say thank you to Emily.
Thank
And
you very much for having me.
yeah, thank you. It was nice to talk to you again. And with that, until next time, Western.